so much for staying with us. Once again, a recap of our breaking news. Kilifi Deputy Governor Gideon Saburi has just been arrested, of course, in relation to him failing to quarantine after jetting back to the country from Germany a few days ago. Now, time for our discussion on Bottom Line Africa here with Mr. Joseph Mithika Mwenda. He is the Executive Director, Pan-African Climate Justice Alliance. Karibu sana sir. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you.
Straight on. Because our discussion today is on the nexus between this pandemic, COVID-19, and of course our environment. So I'd like to ask whether our distraction on nature is possibly responsible for COVID-19.
Yes and no, because it is the nature which carries humanity. And if the stories we are getting on this COVID-19 are true, you know, it emerged from a market, a wet market in Wuhan, in China, some months ago. And that is the connection, but there are so many theories which are being attributed to this. But what we know is that some of these pathogens, which are inflicting pain on humanity, all of them are either manufactured, are human-made, or they come from nature. So generally, everything comes from the environment which we live.
But then again, what are we now supposed to do to prevent further outbreaks? Because this is not the facts. We've had, you know, Ebola, the bad flu, the Middle East respiratory syndrome. All of this have been said in one way or another to be related to, you know, us and their disease.
Yeah, us. I think I want to put it in a broader sense. The crisis, of course, we have in Africa experienced this crisis of Ebola and these others actually limited to Africa. We have never seen such a response which we have. But now, global scale crisis. And this is not the first crisis we are tackling, but the rapid manner in which it has come has called for really a new way of doing things. It is the type of crisis like this one where the institutions and the social structures are put into test. Look, what's happening? Who would imagine like a country like US, like Italy, like Germany, like Sweden, with best health systems could be experiencing what we are seeing now. And the question we have to ask ourselves then is, if it started in Africa, what could be happening? And so these are some of the things we need to ask ourselves. I work for environment, I work on climate change, and it's another crisis which has just been put at the back burner by the same country, the same powers. But when you look at this, then it tells you something that one social scientist just quipped it, that right now we have two crises. We have the crisis of environment, that is climate crisis, and then we have this now, the most rapid one and the most recent, the COVID-19 crisis. They are just the twin crises which we are addressing at global level. But one is like the corona crisis is just analogize it. It's like the running 100 meters, you know? It's very quick, very rapid, and that's why you can see the response and the way it is affecting the world. But the climate crisis is like running a marathon. You may not see as rapid as you are seeing the effect, though we have been seeing. Look at what happened in Southern Africa just the other day. Thousands of people died in Cyclone Kenneth and Indai, who even looked at it. And even here, every time we have these droughts which killed so many people, but we don't look at it. But this is rapid. So that one is marathon. It is killing people slowly, but the other one is very rapid. And what does that tell us? It tells us that some of these events, like this will not be the last one, nor will it be the first one. But what they tell us is that in such events, it really puts into test the structures which we have. Right now, you see, when I came here, naturally I could have greeted you.
Yes.
You see, now you know it has completely changed.
And
the
it's
way,
hard
the
not
way,
doing
yes,
it.
It is very hard.
We used to handshake.
The way we used to handshake, that is our culture, it has completely disrupted that. Look, it has really disrupted even the way we even think. It's going to disrupt the whole economy of the world.
Of course.
It is going to disrupt actually the power relations, you know, even resource distribution. So that is where we are now. But we have not reached there because we don't know whether we'll be there tomorrow or not. It is killing people. Right now, I was just reading now, the coronavirus has killed more than 900 in Spain, 1,000 in Italy. So it is really, we don't know how the spread it is, how it is going to work. But what this means is that we need really to think as a world. Why is it matters at this? Why are we not addressing climate crisis? Why are we not really responding to this in the adequate manner, the way we should? One is the difference between the climate crisis and this one is that it is affecting even the most powerful. That is actually an equalizer. An equalizer. You remember that we have been really tackling and pleading with the global community, world leaders, really to address the issue of the inequality. But now they have not. Now, here in Kenya, for instance, and in any African country, somebody middle class, the powerful, they feel sick, rush to India, rush to Europe and the US. Tell me, where is even the plane to go there? Nothing. So these are some of the things, a wake-up call to our leaders that all humanity, we are all equal in the eyes of God, for those who believe in God, and to tell them, let us put the right health systems. Let us grow in a development pathway which addresses sustainability and equality to everybody.
And actually, just to mention, today we surpassed 1 million, the global infections of COVID-19. Now, in your capacity as the Executive Director of PACJA, that is, Pan-African Climate Justice Alliance, you did react to the postponement of the COP26, the Climate Change Conference, rather. And but there's a sentence you used in your reaction which reads, however, the Alliance wants that this sacrifice will be a wasted opportunity unless the world leaders learn from the COVID-19 crisis and move decisively to prevent a climate meltdown, which presents an even graver existential danger.
Yeah.
What are some of these lessons that you'd like this
That's what I'm saying, that, we have been pursuing profit. Big buildings, airplanes, aircrafts, and those others, and that is just 1% of the population. Whereas other people are suffering, we have a small population of people which do not care and which control the world. The lesson then is we may come out of this COVID-19 crisis, but now the lessons moving forward is that we have the ability to respond to crises like this one, but whether we need really to take care of the environment. Are we going to grow when in the process of reconstruction? Because this is going to be like actually after 1945, during the reconstruction of Europe and elsewhere after the Second World War. That is where we are going. And so we have an opportunity to grow through a pathway which is cleaner, low carbon, climate resilient future, so that we'll avoid some, and then we address, of course, the issues of inequality, of some of the challenges which are affecting us, the gap between the poor and the rich. All these things, we have an opportunity to really address them in the ensuing reconstruction.
But then again, apart from the leaders, what are some of the lessons that we can learn as the people themselves? Because if I could quote a 2007 study of the 2 to 3 SARS outbreak, it concluded that the presence of large SARS-CoV-like viruses in horse, shoe baths, together with the culture of eating exotic mammals in southern China, is a time bomb. That's me reading, just an excerpt of that study. So what are some of the things we can learn?
We don't learn. And
unfortunately,
hopefully, we are going to learn with this.
Yes.
And perhaps if that was affecting, we are a globalized world. Right now, you see this one, when it started happening, I'm the one of the people who went even to court, to even when even the government was very lethargic, when the government was even not bothering, before the Mutai Kagwe came into this, you saw no one was careful. So for us who travel and who understood the impact of this, they knew really the danger even the government was putting us without responding. And you see the people who are now even quarantined are the people who were picked from the airport. Suppose those people went and even interacted, it could be really even exceeding the case of Italy and China. The question is, if China and if Italy and those other countries are not able really to be able to absorb that, what will be happening to us? Mm-hmm. And so what we have lessons, but humanity and us, particularly in Africa, are very good in forgetting because our focus is just the next election.
Unfortunately.
Yeah.
Let's get your parting shot, sir, in under a minute, please.
Yeah, so our sense is that we hope that we have learned a lesson. And my prayer as a Christian is that we are going to come out. I know people are praying and praying and praying. We hope that we'll come out of this. Once that happens, then we need really to rethink. We need a reflection as humanity. We need leaders, our leaders, to reflect. Under the African Union, for instance, in Africa, we need our government to invest in health, to invest in people, rather than investing in individuals.
Indeed. Thank you very much, sir. Bwana Joseph Mithika Mwenda, the Executive Director, Pan-African Climate Justice Alliance, PACJA. Thank you so much, sir, for joining us today. Okay, now let's take a look.